Hello there, happy Valentine's Day and welcome to A Date with Kiki. I am Kiki, your host. A Date with Kiki is a platform that opens everyone up to the inner world of men. On this program, we share experiences from men's world and answer some deep questions about men and their uniqueness. The purpose of A Date with Kiki is to reform the world's view about the male gender, mentor younger men across the globe, and give clarity to some questions that are being asked about men. In our world today, we hear so much about failing marriages and relationships, but little about the working ones. If you ask the average child out there, particularly in the Western world, where they're allowed to say it as they see it or as they need to, hardly would you hear a handful give a good report about marriages or relationships. This boils down to many reasons, from troubled homes, mismanaged relationships, negative worldviews about relationships, and many more. Today, on A Date with Kiki, my guests are Florence and Faye, who are newly married and currently doing the journey of life together. Please welcome on set with me, Faye and Florence. I'm sure you can see the love radiating. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hi,
we're very fine.
Welcome to A Date with Kiki, and thank you so much for honoring my invitation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Before we go on, could you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, I will start. I am Faye Kennedy, and we've been married since October 2018, so last year.
Okay.
It's been wonderful. I think how long that? It's been just over 3 months, I believe, and we are enjoying life
Together.
Yes.
Hooray!
Yes.
And how about you, Florence?
Yes, I'm Florence, now Kende. As Faye said, we're recently married and we're enjoying every moment of it. And we're basically sharing our lives together.
Yes.
So,
That's good. Congratulations
Thank
once
you.
again.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming on board with me. One of the things I know Faye and Florence love is traveling and exploring.
We do.
And I'll say thank you for coming to explore the world of Kiki with me today.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll move on very quickly to our chat of the day, which is about relationship. Faye, how did you meet Florence and what's made it click to say she's the one?
I guess with us, we had an interesting relationship. We had a friendship, first of all. So I met Florence probably in 2014. Thank you. Thank you. That's why she's my support. So I met her in 2014 at a friend's wedding. So I was one of the groomsmen and she was one of the bridesmaids. And so it was, I wouldn't say it was love at first. It was just, I met her. She seemed interesting. We started talking, and we just became friends. But we were friends for probably just 3 years. We just platonic friends. It wasn't anything extra. But as time went on, for me, it was all about potentially finding the right things that I wanted in a wife in her. And for some reason, because you're friends, there are no strings attached. So it's easy to get to know the person for who they really are. And there's a part that in the Bible that says, "He that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord," which is amazing. However, the key part there is you need to find a wife. It's not, the wife isn't just gonna drop in your lap. And for me, it got to a stage where I was ready. I knew it was what I wanted, and I then began to look, and lo and behold, the things I was looking for in a wife
was just right there.
Was right then.
Wow.
And
I can see Florence smiling away.
Yes. So that's how it worked out for us.
That's really good. That's good. I like the bits that you started with being friends.
Yes.
Because as we go on these episodes of love in February, we're going to be talking about friendship in marriage. So from one thing you've said, I think one thing you guys are building on is friendship.
Yes.
Knowing that friendship with your wife is key to you.
That's right.
Now, that's very good. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Actually.
Yes.
But apologies, I'm going to be picking on you because you know that A Day with Kiki is about men.
Yeah.
Florence is also here to support you. Okay?
That's fine.
So, you said you saw Faye as Florence as your friend, and you saw that you could go on the journey with her. So what are the specific things you looked out for in the woman, or you were looking out for in your woman?
Thank you. That's it's a deep question, but yeah, there are a few things. I guess as a man, you generally look like, I've talked on the friendship, someone who I could relate with and who knew me for who I was. The next thing for me was also, because you're not just marrying but yourselves. It's also, marriage is a union of not just both of you, but the family as a whole. I was also looking for someone who had a good family background, because I knew that before I could get my needed consent of my parents, I also needed consent from her parents. So it was conscious to me. I was very conscious that I needed someone who came from a good family. So that was another thing. The other important thing to me was, someone who you were attracted to. That I know people say, the physical goes away, and after a while, it's more about the person deep down. But if you have a good friendship, that already sorts out the deeper parts. Am I attracted to this person? Do I see this person as, oh, okay, you get the buttery feeling and all those sort of things. And looking at her, you can see I did a good job.
You did well done. Yes. Well done.
So I was physically attracted to her. And then I guess for me, it was just the final bit was, the spiritual aspect of things. Could I see her, supporting me as a man and the visionary in the family, in that capacity. And yeah, I saw her doing that. She's a strong woman of faith. She's there, and yeah. That was...
I like that you just touched on the beat where I was going to, where you talked about being the visionary of the family and having someone to back you up. So for you, you've identified early that you are the visionary of the family. And I guess in addition to that, you found someone who is your friend that you could sell this vision to.
Yes.
So Florence, how has vision been going? I know it's just 3 months, but how has handling that been going, and how has the journey been with Faye?
I would say it's been very interesting, and a lot of fun at the same time. Interesting because on my own, separate from him, I'm someone who is already very strong-willed, and I'm someone who is also a visionary. So now coming together, it's now a thing of learning your place as a woman and, supporting his vision without just saying, well, I have a vision too, that type of thing. Letting him always know that you're there for him and to support him. It's a practical thing that you practice every single day. So it's definitely interesting, and we're enjoying the journey so far.
Okay.
I think there was something I didn't mention previously, which was, looking at picking a wife, I needed to also find someone who was going in the same direction as myself. So when she spoke about being a visionary and I've also been a visionary, if you have two visions going in diverging directions, it doesn't work. But in our case, we seem to be going in the same path. So it's a lot easier for her to jump on board with me because we're going in the same direction. So things are things are a lot easier.
Thank you for bringing that in. Yes, we need to be sure we're going in the same direction. Other than we need to know that we have a destination ahead, and be sure that our destination, we're going the same direction. I am not going towards London and the opposite person going towards Birmingham. Even if I'm going towards Stevenage and I'm using my environment now. I'm going towards Stevenage from Biggleswade and you're going towards London. We still have a common path, which it's towards the same area. We're boarding the same bus or the same train. Well done. That's key. So to our young men out there, making sure you get the woman who has a similar vision to yours is key. And then again, with what you said, as a man, you need to have a vision. Because most women these days have got visions. And you don't want to be a laid-back man in the house. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, Faye, picking on you again. I'm not picking on you, am I? Am I?
No.
Okay, I'm not. So I'm allowed to just ask you questions. Okay, now, very quickly, I want you to say, what do you think as a man, because you're newly married, what do you think your responsibilities are in the home?
I think it varies. One of the things we did before we got married was to well, we went through a period of counseling, and we had to, one of the sections was to define sort of roles and responsibilities within the family, because it's easy for people to just assume that's, well, this is a woman's job and this is a man's job. And I guess in our 21st century world, there are certain things that are almost clear cut for the man to do, but it's always good to define them. So for example, I know if we're looking at it from a biblical point of view, the man is the head of the home, he provides, he does all those sort of things. And for me, yes, I know I provide, but there's nothing that stops my wife from also providing and supporting. Yeah. But I know that it is my responsibility to look after my family. And that was one of the things that we wrote down as, yes, okay, this is you are the provider in the family. But yes, I have a wife who enjoys providing as well. So, you know, we come together. Yes. No, she is really on that. I know that. And that's another sweet thing about her, which I love.
So that means the fact that you know that your responsibility is to provide doesn't mean she can't support you.
No. Yes.
We're in it together, we're team.
Exactly.
That's right.
Thank you very much for that.
Exactly.
Thank you. And so we would be back. We'd like to take a short break now.
All right.
And I'll be back to Faye and Florence again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there. Thank you so much for staying tuned and welcome back. I'm still here with Faye and Florence on our date with Kiki.
Yes.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Again. Yes. Back to our gist. Now, my next question is, obviously, you're still on the first year of your marriage and those butterflies are still here jumping about and, you know, those things, which is amazing. I'm feeling mine right now.
It's good.
But I want to say, in the next couple of years, that's if it's up to a couple of years again, you begin to see those little men and women running about and distracting those butterflies. What have you got in place? What plan as a man have you got in place to ensure that these butterflies do not fly out of the window?
Yes, so you're right. We're just in the first year of our marriage, and it's a learning process for both of us as well as me. In terms of our plans for, you know, raising our children and how not to kill the spark in our marriage, I think for us it's important that we continue we have the little things that we focus on ourselves, as well as also focusing on kids. When I talk about the little things, I'm talking about things like setting out time for, whether it's a date night or it's just a day where we sit down after the kids have gone to bed and we have a good chat, or watch a movie, or we go out. It's one of the things you learn by doing it. It's easy to say that, I would do this, but I know from the people who are ahead of me, having children, it changes everything. And for now, all we can say is mentally we will keep it in our heads that we want to not kill the vibe. We want to continuously spend time with each other, have things in place that ensure that we don't miss it. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. You said you want to ensure you have it. I'm picking on the word ensure. So again, I love picking on words. And one word I'm picking on here is ensuring. So you're going to be deliberate about ensuring that we don't let things slip out. Yes, we've been blessed with these little men and women, but we're still together as a couple.
Yes, yeah. I think. Do you want to go
on?
Yes. Well, I was going to say, I think another aspect on how to ensure that this continues after we have kids is, now that we don't have kids, really finding something that we bond over, that we can carry on throughout the years. So for us, we enjoy traveling, but we also maybe enjoy certain types of shows that we cannot watch without each other. But so those kind of things that keep us connected, and then carrying that onwards, it's also an important aspect.
Finding those things that keep you connected and ensuring you carry on with them even when the children come in.
Yes.
Wow, that's deep. And I'm taking that away as well. got to think now, what are those things that for us, I think it's movie. We can't but do that movie night on Friday. Even if the roof is falling, that movie night needs to be done, irrespective of where you go. So finding those things. My husband is not a very movie type of person, but I am. And he's been able to bend over backwards. So he knows that his wife will do the movie nights. So everything has to align. So, and then again, it's for me to be able to find those things he likes and be able to bend over backwards again. Marriage is about making it work, you know. But it's not just about me; it's about us. Thank you. Well done for putting those things in place. And I think you guys are in for an amazing journey together.
By God's grace.
Yes, I can see that already. It's not about the butterfly now, but and I think that's one thing you would agree with me. The relationship goes beyond the sparks. It goes beyond the butterflies. Yeah. So now, Faye, what's one thing do you want your family to be known for? So that when people say, "Oh, Faye and Florence Kende," oh yes, this is them. That's one thing that would define your family.
I think for us, before we got married, we sat down and looked at how we wanted our family to be looked at. So one of the things that we set out to do is we're both business-minded people. We currently have our separate jobs, but we also share business together. And we also wanted to use that business to leverage onto sort of raise leaders and champions. So one of the things, or one of the most important things I think for us as a family, we want to be known for is, you know, we raise leaders. We don't just raise, you know, just anyone. They will be leaders in our families. Our children will be leaders. And that's one thing I want, or we want our family to be known for. It's raising not just leaders, divine champions as well.
Amen. Raising leaders and divine champions. Wow. That's good. Those children.
We can't wait to meet them either.
I've got to be there.
We'll send you an invite, don't worry.
Congratulations in advance. Well done, both of you.
Thank you.
I think, one thing is knowing that it's time to get married. Another thing is being deliberate about going into the marriage and remaining in it deliberately, which is one thing I see that you guys have started off from the foundation of your marriage. So a big well done to you.
Thank you.
Now to you again, Faye. Looking out there to the younger men, a lot of men out there are not getting it right. Let's call a spade a spade. It's not to their own fault. I'm not blaming anyone. But what message have you got to that younger man who is either single and looking for somebody to settle down with, or engaged and about to get into the journey of marriage together with someone?
Well, I think for starters, I would like to say, well, marriage, like age, number one, isn't the determinant for marriage. You need to be ready in your own physical and mental state of mind. If you're not, if you don't think you're developed enough, if you're not independent actually on your own, if you're still dependent on maybe parents or family, or you don't see yourself as a man in your own rights, then there's no point in getting into marriage. You need to be, a man is an independent person. A man should be able to do things without having to depend on other people to start off with. If you are now in the state that, okay, yes, you can look after yourself and you can do things and you are ready for marriage, I think what you need to know what you want. It's not just saying, I like this lady physically. There's more to the physical. You need to have a defined set of agenda or criteria for whoever you want to be with. And then be deliberate about it. Go out, speak to people, make friends. It's easy. Like in our case, it was so easy for me to make a decision because she was my friend. It's a lot more difficult where you're not looking for just a friend. You're looking more, you're maybe rushing it. Deeper. Yes. It's a lot easier when you make friends and you begin to see certain things and you can take it from there. Some people don't like the whole friendship thing. They believe, okay, let my friend be my friend, let whoever I want to date be date. But I don't really see anything wrong with that. Yes, it happens for some people that they immediately see the things they want, and that person is showing who they really are from the start. But people aren't generally always upfront when they know that there's something more attached to it. So I would say have that defined criteria and be deliberate. Go out and find those things. And the last thing, and which is actually supposed to be the first thing, is pray about it. God, the Holy Spirit, is a good leader. He will direct you and he will lead you onto who you're meant to be with. And for us, or for me in particular, because we were friends, I obviously had to pray about it, because it's easy to say, okay, I see everything I want in a wife and I'm just going to go into it. But if God is not in that thing, the likelihood of that marriage lasting is so difficult, because marriage is not a walk in the park. It isn't.
It's a lot of
easy.
work.
Yes, it is work.
I always say it's part of your salvation, and you've got to work it out.
Yes,
it is. It's a lot of work.
So I would say pray about it. And in my case, I just had this peace of mind that, yes, this was where I was meant to be. And I made my move, and we're here today.
Hooray! So yes. And finally, to you, Florence.
Yes.
This is a tricky question now. When you popped the question, what went on in your head? Were you expecting it?
Contrary to what he may believe.
She wasn't.
I was expecting it, but I didn't necessarily know it was that day. But I knew that at some point around that period of time, that was when it was going to happen. And I think I was almost prepared for it. So although it was a nice surprise, it wasn't a surprise as in, oh, I didn't know we were going to be engaged or anything, because we had spoken about it before and everything like that. So I knew. And when he did propose, you have that moment in your head where everything just goes
freezes
blank, no matter how prepared you are, and you're just thinking, oh my God, is this actually happening? After this, there's no going back. But thankfully, because we had already had these conversations, I knew that there wasn't going to be anything too different from what we had already spoken about. So
well done, guys. And one thing Florence just said, you said, after this, there is no going back.
There is no.
So if we can go into this relationship, not just the woman now, but both of us going into this relationship to sell us and knowing that after this, there is no going back. If I say yes, I'm making a lifetime commitment. Yes, sometimes things might happen the other way around, but as much as possible, we've got to know that there is no going back, and we're going to be deliberate about making this work. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
It's been amazing having you. And thank you. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
I look forward to this beautiful life with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, viewers. Thank you so much for staying tuned. I'll see you again on A Date with Kiki. Love you.